All right, a question I get a lot from clients and potential clients and friends and family is, should I rent or should I buy a house? And I got a text from a client the other day. Hey, Josh, blank accepted a 3-year contract, so we're moving back to Albuquerque and wondering if we should rent or buy. I love that this text included the length of the contract, right? Because I think a lot of that decision comes down to how long you'll be living in a place. And that doesn't mean if you do buy a home, you have to stay there longer than 2 years. If you don't like it, we do everything we can to make sure you make a good investment, and that's based on location so that you can sell it in the future. But there are a lot of questions to ask yourself that we'll go through in this video to make the best decision for you and your family. And so the first one that we talked about was the length of stay. The golden rule is around 5 years, and that really allows you time to enjoy the house and create some roots in your community and your neighborhood. But from a financial perspective, allows you to start to build equity. And when you purchase a home, there's a lot that goes into closing costs financially, money that goes into closing costs and into down payment. And it takes some time for you to recoup some of that investment and then start building equity over time so that you can make a good financial decision for your family. Now, beyond financial decisions, the second question, we talked about length of stay, and we'll get into more financial stuff, but I really want to talk about how comfortable you feel with maintaining and taking care of a home. Lately, I feel like I've had a lot of sellers that have gone some of the maintenance in their home, and that always costs more down the road. $500 roof repair now that you don't take care of then becomes an entire roof replacement of $15,000 to $20,000 in a few years. And so if you have the wherewithal, the time, the energy, and money to take care of a home, to landscape, to cut the grass, to reseal the penetrations on your roof, all of the stuff that goes into owning a home, then I think you may be ready for it. But if you're not ready for that, you're not in a phase of your life where you have the time and energy, maybe you're working a lot right now, working your way up in your company, or you have kids and you just feel a little bit overwhelmed with the home ownership process and the time and energy, then it's a good idea to rent. And so the rent versus buy question, there's not a one size fits all. I read a lot of articles, watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, and people say you must do this, don't do that. And I just don't think that fits. Some other financial considerations: do you have an emergency fund? If you need to sell your house, it can take a couple of months to get that money back into your bank account. And so if, let's say, you own a business and you have a lease that you have to pay for and things don't work out with the business, are you able to sell your home quickly? Or if you're renting, maybe you have all that built up already and you can kind of just take care of the business first, right? There's so many financial considerations. Also, with financial considerations, do you have money saved up for a down payment? Do you have the closing costs? Do you have the emergency fund? And are you willing to take care of a roof bill of $15,000 if something happens? Now, in terms of the positives of owning a home from a financial perspective, is that equity that you're building. The example or the analogy I always give comparing owning a home and financials is it is basically a forced savings account. You put that down payment into your mortgage and it sits there. And over time, hopefully the home value appreciates. So for example, I had a client recently, they purchased a home in 2021 for $360,000. They put 20% down, that sat in the bank. And then we just sold their home this summer for, I think it was around $450,000. And so that down payment sat there. They built money on top of that equity and they had a place to live. So not only were they not throwing money away on rent, which people say, but they were into a forced saving account with that down payment, that lump sum of money. And every month they were buying into and growing the appreciation, the equity in their home. And so that, I forget exactly the numbers on that $350,000 house. I should look at it real quick, but it's probably around $70,000. They ended up walking away after appreciation with their down payment coming back $130,000. So they almost doubled their money while having a beautiful place to live. And that's one of the most important factors in all of this, is just having a place that you feel comfortable owning and making your own. You know, another consideration is, do you want to paint the whole house? Do you want to redo the kitchen? Do you want to retile this? Do you want to redo the backyard to have a grass area for your child? I think if you're renting a home, it doesn't feel like yours. It doesn't feel like you're making a space that you can be in for a while, but also that you're going to get the rewards for putting money into that. The return on investment of adding grass to your backyard, replacing the front door, the garage, or redoing the kitchen. It's just not reasonable to do that in a rental, because you're not going to get that return on investment back. And ultimately, a house should be an investment in the quality of your life, but also financially to some degree. And that's where we really want to focus on location, as I talked about in the beginning. A couple other things to consider. You'll be paying for property taxes, homeowners insurance. If you do rent, whether it's an apartment, a home, a townhome, condo, you should get renter's insurance. I think it's something that a lot of people overlook. And I've noticed apartment complexes are requiring it more lately, but please do that. And so I think those are kind of the overarching main factors. And if you want more ideas or talk through your exact situation in terms of length of stay, if you're in the military, how long before you get shipped out to another place, if you want to talk a little bit more about what you need for a down payment, or if you need help getting your credit score up to a level where you're going to get a better interest rate when you do purchase, I think that's something to consider. One thing I want to make note of that I did not talk about, I didn't talk about mortgage rates now. I didn't talk about the real estate market now. I think those factors are impossible to time. Timing the market is a crazy thing to do, because you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen in 6 months or in 4 years. Over the last 20 to 40 years, real estate has been a safe investment. It's been a place that if you bought into a home, it will grow in value, and usually, at least in the Albuquerque market, has slowly outpaced inflation. We've averaged around 6% over the last 25 years. And if you look at inflation over the last 25 years, it's a little bit less than that. And so that forced savings account, where you have a beautiful place to live, and if you're open to maintaining, taking care of it, if you're financially in a good spot to purchase, that is a preferred decision, but it's not for everybody. And I have clients of mine who pass along friends and family after they bought a house, sold it, and just got into a rental, and they'll be in a rental for the rest of their lives just because it doesn't fit their lifestyle. They don't have the time and energy to maintain, and they don't want to deal with owning a home. And so, yeah, like I say, it's not for everybody, but if it's something that you're considering either direction, we love to have these conversations. It's the whole point of this office that we're in right now, is we're next to a Starbucks, and we'll be announcing our new office location soon. That'll be next to a Flying Star. And so we can grab a coffee, we can talk, and really get into the weeds in your personal situation. All of it confidential, all of it focused on doing the best that we can to help you in the next phase of your life. And so if that's something you're considering, give us a call, 505-604-7826. You can email us. All of our information should be down in the bottom of this video, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.